You're listening to Sideshow Network. Check out all of our shows at SideshowNetwork.tv.
Episode of Worst Collection Ever. I am Shawn Merrick, and I'm here with Jen Stansfield Merrick.
Hello.
And the point of this podcast is because we have probably the worst collection of comic books ever.
Yes.
I think.
All true.
Because we purposely go out and buy a lot of dollar comics.
The cheapest shit we can find. Absolutely
cheap, but it's purely for collection and story, just stuff that's like I want to actually read to enjoy. I enjoy reading, not
yes.
Yeah.
We're not trying to make money off of our collection. No one will ever buy this from us. We will never be able to sell any of these issues for thousands of dollars. This is for our own enjoyment and because we love crap, basically.
Well, the thing is that we bought a lot of these comics and. It's what I want to justify owning this much stuff because I really don't really feel like at least if you own this stuff and it's just sitting there, it's like what we make a podcast about it. So we figured what would be a good idea, just go through at least for this episode. How we're gonna do it each time is we're gonna read a comic book from our podcast. We're going to read two comic books, one that is selected by Jen and one that is selected by myself. And we decided just to grab two random books here at first.
Yes, you make it sound so scientific, like we selected it, we thought about it. No, we literally just went, that's the one I want to read and pulled it out of the box.
Yeah, by science we mean nothing. So
random chance.
Random hand goes into a box and something gets pulled out.
That's how we picked these.
But nonetheless, we decided to start off with some DC comics, so we'll get right into it.
Perhaps we should say that we mostly have DC comics?
We mostly have DC comics. I mean, you have mostly DC comics.
I would say I have like 99% DC comics.
Right, but I have a lot of Marvel comics, and I've also started kind of getting back into buying Marvel comics again, just because there's a lot of stuff that's been kind of, in my purview that I remember being interested in as a kid, and I'd like to keep reading these adventures and maybe try to pick up on some of the stuff from back then, either as in trade form, but mostly in dollar comic form, because, who else is going to buy the entire collection of Quasar or Wonder Man except for me?
You have to explain that you like to say Quasar in like a really weird way.
Quasar.
So you call it Quasar.
Quasar.
Yeah, it's a weird thing.
It's a thing. I just enjoy saying it like that.
Yes.
But nonetheless, we are going to be talking about stuff like that. So, there are Quasars involved, and there's a lot of Batman involved.
Oh, yes. A lot of Batman.
A lot of Batman, because Jen is a big Batman fan.
Mm-hmm, yes.
So there's a lot of Batman, a lot of Catwoman.
Oh, yes.
A lot of Superman.
Not a lot. I don't know if I have a lot.
I have a few Supermans, too, so we'll be talking about that as well. So,
all right.
Nonetheless, let's start. So I guess we're going to start talking about the first comic that we... One of the comics that we read is an issue of All-Star Squadron number 59.
And from July 1986.
It was July 1986, which I just realized as I was writing notes for this that my abbreviation for All-Star Squadron is ASS.
Yay!
So if I refer...
I think that's appropriate.
No, here's the thing. So basically, I guess, if you're already listening to this, you already know what All-Star Squadron is if you're a DC fan. But basically, for those that may not know, it's a book that was created to tell the stories of the JSA without it actually being the Justice Society of America. So, and this went on for a couple of years, and they eventually got rid of it after the Crisis. This issue happens to be right after Crisis or during Crisis. of A Crisis on Infinite Earths, excuse me. And so there's, there really is, it doesn't really seem as much as affected, but the story here is quite, I guess we described it earlier as C-SPAN the comic.
Yeah, pretty much. The first 10 pages of this comic is literally like watching C-SPAN, because what they do is they just sit around and, like government, and talk about issues.
Well, the way that it opens up is Aquaman, who apparently has not been seen or heard from, or ever,
yeah,
shows up to a JSA meeting. Everybody's like, "Oh, dude, what are you doing here?" Yeah. And everybody's there, standing around in their costumes, just looking ridiculous. And but he shows up, and everybody gets freaked out. But nonetheless, he's allowed to hang out and be a part of this meeting. But I just, it's just a random. I don't know if I remember him being a part of that group, but since that is,
and you'd think it would be like such a big deal that he shows up, but he's literally only in like the first 3 pages, and then you never see Aquaman again.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's
the thing. Like, he shows up, and it's like this big deal, and it's like it doesn't revolve around him. It's just like, oh, Aquaman's here, holy shit,
yeah.
And then it's like, oh, well, for fuck it.
Yeah.
It's like, we'll I guess we'll carry out the rest of this book, which leads to, it's kind of...
Well, on page, I actually kind of love it, because, like, they're like, all right, Aquaman's here, great. And then Liberty Bell's like, okay, well, let's get started. And Batman just, like, tries to make it all about himself, where he's like, hey, guys, like, I'm really busy over in Gotham City. Because, that's what Batman does. He kind of tries to make it about himself, and he gets shot down, which is great.
If Firebrand's like, we're all busy.
We're all busy, Batman. Shut the fuck up.
He's like, shut up. Yeah, it's like, dude, we don't care. I get it, and I think it's funny because it's like he's just there because it's like, why are you even there in the first place? Yeah. Like, you hate gatherings.
Yeah, he hates things.
You hate
people, things. And he's hanging out with all these people, and like Superman's just sitting there, like he doesn't do anything. I think Superman might have like 2 lines in this book, maybe.
Right, but it also it's like funny beforehand because they're Johnny Quick is asking about. He's asking about everybody's there except for Little Boy Blue and the Blue Boys, and he just kind of makes like this joke like, oh, they must have been busting us away for milk money, and it's like, haha, like you're just making fun of their members
and their existence. Fair enough, though.
I mean, rightfully so.
Fair enough. Let's be honest.
I just like the idea that he's throwing shade at his own buddies. Who cares?
So, like, C-SPAN begins, and they, like, get down to business, and, like, Dr. Colt gets up, and he's, like, talking about whatever happened in the last issue, which, by the way, since we do not have all of these issues, sometimes it's not a through story, and that's okay, because
we're not, it really doesn't matter.
I don't really care, because if I really cared, I would find it in trade, or I would look on Wikipedia. So, so he's, like, talking...
Well, I will say in this last issue... Well, I'll get to this a little bit when I get to it.
So, Dr. Colt gets up and he's like, hey, I can assure you that my magical talisman, which is this ball, assures me that everybody who's, like, lost in this zone is okay. So, like, don't worry about it, guys, because this little tiny ball is telling me that everybody is safe.
But his balls are telling him.
His balls are telling them that things are safe.
That typical man.
Yeah.
Telling the ball... But the guys, I have balls, it's okay.
Guys, listen to my balls.
But then later on, there's a part where Zatara and Sargon the Sorcerer have a little, like, whisper to each other. They're like, hey, let's try our own magic after the meeting. It's like, all right, buddy.
Yeah, good plan,
and it just sounds so, like, it just sounds like a little, like, hey, bro, hey, let's go do some magic in the alley,
That's what they're going to do.
And we don't get to see it.
Maybe that's what they call magic.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm saying, it was the 40s, it was a time things, America was having a hard time, people were trying things and whatever, so he's like, and they talk about that for several pages until you get to what actually kicks off the story in this book on page 4, where they run into first off we have Johnny Quick trying to work Skype so he can get in touch with Robot Man, which is what kicks off this whole thing, and Johnny Quick can't work Skype. He doesn't know how to fucking do it.
So even back in the day...
It's like the Flintstones version of Skype.
Kind of. It's like basically if you've ever worked in an office and like you're trying to have a meeting with anybody and somebody can't figure out the equipment. This is exactly what happens.
Can you hear me? I can see you, but I can't hear you.
No, wait. Maybe it's on your end. Can you plug it in? Like,
can you close that window for me, please? I think that might help.
Well, maybe if there's not any glare. Like, I can't really hear anything.
See, now I can see you, but I can't hear you. This is ridiculous. Now I can hear you, but I can't see you.
And that's basically what happens until they get Robot Man.
And we get to see it. Somebody drew it. Somebody was like...
Somebody literally drew this guy staring at this thing going, ooh.
Somebody was like, yeah, let's do it. Anyway, so they get Robot Man. It's not the Robot Man from Doom Patrol. It's a Robot Man who is from the 40s. And he kind of looks like Robot Man from Doom Patrol, but he's gray. And, he's basically the same thing. He's a robot. He's a human brain inside of a robot that, acts and feels like a robot. And... or acts like a human as much as he possibly can, but he's whatever, a robot. And so basically, what happens is Firebrand was attacked by this robot called we've learned to be called later is named Mechanique by Robot Man, and he grabs this after this battle happens in the previous issue. Robot Man grabs the robot, his Mechanique, and takes it back to his lab. I forgot exactly what he was doing with it. I think he wants to revive it so he can have sex with it.
I'm assuming to have sex with it.
Or for it to be his wife.
Sure, whatever. He wants, and he redesigns it because doesn't Liberty Bell say at one point oh, even the lines are different, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. Okay, you rebuilt this thing, so I don't know. So they're very, very excited. Or Robot Man is very, very excited, and the JSA is like, hey, maybe you shouldn't do that.
Hey, bro, maybe you shouldn't be doing that crazy shit on your own. And he's like, fuck you guys.
He's like, fuck you guys, we're gonna have a vote about this. And
they decided to vote on it instead of just being...
Which is dumb.
So then we get to see the vote.
Yeah, we do. But first, can I just say that the panel at the top of what pages is 8... Robot Man is going full Dr. Frankenstein. They're talking about getting energy from the lightning, and this chick is strapped down to this table, and it
appears that she has a robot merkin.
Yeah, she totally has a robot merkin.
Yeah, you could probably I should take a picture of that.
Roberkin. And then he actually even pulls, before they decide that they need to have a vote, he pulls the old don't call me, I'll call you line. You can tell he's totally fucking over it. So then we get to see the vote. And I don't even know what they're fucking voting on.
They're voting on whether or not he's supposed to bring back the thing or not.
Yeah.
Depending on how people feel about that.
Yes.
But so then we see the vote, and basically,
and literally, it's just
it's everybody
little drawings and their names above their head, and them saying yes or no.
And that's
yeah, great.
And Batman, let's see who here?
Green Arrow is
Batman wants the robot back.
Or no, Speedy's against it.
No, that's Green Arrow.
No, Speedy, down here.
Oh, well, Speedy too.
Green Arrow says yes. Speedy says no.
Well, they should get their shit together.
Right?
Vigilante, I don't know why anybody cares what he has to say.
Nobody gives a fuck about Vigilante.
Superman wants it back. Dr. Fate wants it back. Everybody wants it back.
Why is Airwave even in this book?
Because it's the thing, he was around.
Is that why you're in this book? Because you're around?
Yeah, if you get a chance.
We got some characters that are around. Let us put them in this book.
Mr. America. That's
what about Stripesy?
Well, Stripesy's, yeah. Stripesy, yeah, he was around too. Yeah, there's a lot of geeks on this team.
I feel like Zatara kind of got shafted because he didn't get his own picture, and he's literally the only one.
Well, they had to only fit in so many, and they had to get that shot of, because it would just look weird if it was, if you didn't have Liberty Bell's head down at the bottom taking the votes, because she's the secretary, you see. Or, it's funny because,
something.
But whatever.
Yeah.
So she apparently. So anyway, this is obviously this is fascinating.
Yes.
And we should keep talking about this.
This is great podcasting material. I'm glad we're talking about something you guys can't see.
Well, you can see it. You just go buy the comic.
Are there that many issues of All-Star Squadron floating around in dollar boxes across the country?
I'm sure there is.
Actually, that answer is probably yes.
Anyways, so everybody's so they vote yes, and Aquaman and Robot Man's like, well, fuck you.
Fuck you guys, I'm out.
Fuck you guys, I'm out. He literally says, butt out.
And turns off his Skype. And they're like, oh no, somebody has to go get him. So they decide to put together this team.
The fact a bunch of these people volunteer, and
is Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, Shining Knight, Airwave, and Firebrand.
But we have to mention that this is very, very old Green Lantern.
Well, right, yeah. I mean, I was saying assume that it's Alan Scott.
Good. Okay. So yeah, they get together and they're like, "Yay, we're going!" And so they wander off to the lab, where
which is in Queens.
Yeah, just in Queens.
They could have just taken the subway, but no, they had to go. Green Lantern puts them in a bubble, and
that's what Green Lantern does.
Green Lantern does. He's big on bubbles, so
they get there.
And he's about to be doing some science and
they say, "No, fuck your science."
And get away from that. And he starts.
And of course, everybody starts punching.
Everybody starts punching, and all this stuff starts going crazy because, Robot Man's bringing up this, this juice, and it just ends up being fucking just going crazy. Everything's just going crazy.
It's kind of one of those things that the DC Comics, especially these days, is very, very good at doing, which is if you had these people actually talk to each other, they probably would not, I don't know, as they do in this comic, wreck the entire laboratory. Because they just run in there and start punching, and that's basically what happens here. But, if they, talk to each other, maybe they could figure stuff out. But then it would just be C-SPAN for 20 pages instead of 10. So they punch each other, and my favorite, actually, is right here at the top of page 13, where Green Lantern tells Robot Man that he has an engineering degree.
So I missed this part.
Yeah, he's like,
but I can see where this is going.
I have an engineering degree myself. Blah, 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 blah. So basically, he becomes the most obnoxious internet and
he starts name-dropping Galileo and Darwin.
Yeah, no, that's Robot Man. My favorite is that he just says, "Have you forgotten Galileo -- Darwin?" So if you could read that as, one dude named Galileo Darwin. Which I'm assuming is, some guy had a baby with some chick who were really into science,
and they probably live in Queens.
And they named it Galileo Darwin. But Galileo Darwin said, "Fuck you guys! I don't want to be into science. I'm going to go work in an El Pollo Loco."
And he did.
And that is the happy ending of Galileo Darwin.
That's a good comic.
It's a great story.
He's actually going to be getting his new monthly book written by Dan Didio. Anyways,
it's all Jeff Johns all the time.
Yeah, Jeff Johns is very inspired because he loves JSA, and he thought about bringing back Galileo Darwin at some point.
And he probably will. He'll probably work him in with Star Spangled Girl.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have a day. Oh, would you miss that part on the stage where? Airwave's swatting around trying to stop Robot Man and his little project.
Robot Man is doing.
And and Robot Man says, "Quote, Airwave, what the devil are you doing sniffing around my apparatus?" And
I think we know.
I think he's sniffing for fun. And then
he'll probably go hang out with Zatara in the back of the alley.
They're going to him and Zatara and Sargon are going to be doing some stuff, doing their magic
and sniffing of apparatuses.
Check it out. Yeah. So now,
there's just a bunch of fighting, and Shining Knight is here, which I don't know why. Shining Knight is just
I forgot why Shining Knight decided to come. I think he was just I'm gonna go.
Yeah, he was just I like things. Here's my sword, chop, and that's basically what he does. Punchy, choppy, stabby. And then basically everything gets set on fire.
Yeah, everything gets set on fire.
The lab comes down completely. And Robot Man is no, wait, I have to save this mechanique. And everybody's don't worry about it, Robot Man. She's just a robot. Which is kind of a shitty thing to say to somebody who is a robot.
Yeah, no, they kind of just you know what?
Fuck her, it's okay.
So you know
Don't worry about it, bro. You robots are all the same.
Yeah, we'll just build you another one.
And so he gets really pissed, and as the lab is coming down around them, Green Lantern has protected them in his bubble.
Once again with the bubbles, yeah.
With the bubbles, and he says, "Don't worry about it, Robot Man. She's only a robot." And he says, "If she's only a robot, then so am I." And he punches through the construct.
Which is why didn't you just do that in the first place? And apparently, Green Lantern shit doesn't work.
Yeah, because you can break it with a robot punch. Apparently.
Yeah.
And so then he just goes crazy and. I don't know what the fuck. What's fuck her name?
Mechanique shows a Firebrand.
Firebrand melts his legs together, which is a really shitty thing to do to somebody who's supposed to be your friend.
It's actually pretty horrifying.
It is actually. It's awful. She literally melted his legs together so he cannot move. And that's supposed to be a good thing that a hero does.
And they probably went back to the next meeting, and they probably were like, so minutes of the next meeting, it's like, so Robot Man has been, you had to stop. It's like, yeah, I melted his legs together.
I made him the official JSA paperweight. He's going to sit here on top of this giant document.
Because I'm a team player.
Yeah, and we're going to, like, take a vote on it, and hopefully everybody's okay with it.
Go get Sargon as a Zatara out of the alley, because they need to vote on this paperweight.
And then Mechanique shows up, and she's like, I won't let you near him.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. The end. So, who knows how that ends. We'll probably find the other issue someday. So that's the first.
That's the story, main story. There is a Spectre backup, because Spectre was a part of the JSA.
You also have to explain that you love Spectre.
Well, I love the Spectre. Yeah, that's why I bought this.
This is why he bought this.
This is why, because of the front, it says it has a Spectre in hyperspace, or it's according to the. This is the 8th part of the story, and I think it would be the final part.
No, I think there's one more after this.
Is it? Okay.
Maybe? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe at the end, because the end felt kind of final. But apparently he's been floating around space.
In a Nazi rocket.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah, that's right. There's a swastika on that rocket.
There is. It's a Nazi rocket, and the only thing in it is Spectre, and the Nazis have shot him into space.
Yes.
We don't know why. And he literally says, like, someone on Earth...
He's also the Spectre, which I find it hard to believe that he was like, whatever, I guess I'll just deal with this. It's like, no, you're the Spectre. Like, you fuck up people all the time.
Right, like, that's your job. You're the Spectre.
You're the Spectre. You're the embodiment of God's wrath.
Yes. And he's like, I gotta figure out what's going on with that. But first, let me figure out what's going on with this planet, which is, like, near Pluto or something. It's like Pluto 2. I don't know what it's supposed to be called.
It's a pseudo-Pluto.
It's a pseudo-Pluto, and it's a cold pseudo-Pluto, so it's all icy, and the Spectre's like, haha, here I am, let me figure out what's going on. And he, like, goes down a hole, and then he's in this city with these random people who are, like, gearing up for war.
And they're humanoids and stuff, and apparently they're fighting this group called the Furred Ones, which are...
like monkeys.
Monkeys that live outside of their bubble, and they don't want them to hang out, and,
But first, like, this chick he finds, like, drags him down, and she says, this is the Spectre, he's from a planet in another dimension, which calls itself Earth, and he has come to help us. And Spectre goes, I did not say that I would. He's kind of like, what's up? No, wait, I never said that.
Actually, I like that. He's kind of like, it's like, well, you're here to do something, aren't you?
No.
He should just left. He's just like, this sucks. Yeah. Whatever, I'm
the Spectre, you can't, like, hold me here. But no, he stays.
I could turn you all into sawdust and set you on fire.
Right? Why doesn't he do that?
I don't know. Maybe since being God's vengeance, maybe it doesn't work out in pseudo Pluto.
Pseudo Pluto.
Yeah. So
it's kind of like, is that like L.A. Deli?
L.A. Deli, pseudo Pluto and L.A. Deli coming to
the theater near you.
But so anyway, so he's basically in this town, in this area, and then like these furred ones who are the monkeys. The monkey men come to attack this bubble, and they crack the bubble, and they start beating the shit out of everybody, and so
Spectre's like, I'll help, and so he starts kicking ass, but then, like, the air is going out of this bubble thing, and, like, all the heat's going out with it, so somehow, and I do not know how this works, he becomes very large, and he...
What's he a Spectre? He can become large.
Well, I know that, but that's not what I don't understand. What I don't understand is how he, like, decides to take the fuel in his fuel tank and pour it on this thing, on the bubble, to, like, make it okay.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused by the science.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure? He's
just like, I'm just gonna do this.
And for some reason, like, the air that is blowing out with such force doesn't, like, blow away all this fuel. I don't know, whatever. So it's not a good idea to try to figure out how physics actually work in comics, but whatever. So he saves the day, and he continues to kick ass.
Well, it's funny because at the end, so if you go to the end here...
The end is like... I don't know how this is like a...
Well, the end is funny because he's like...
It's not a happy ending. He's threatening them.
He is. He's like, don't fuck... He's like, you guys be friends. If you don't, I'm going to come kick your ass.
Yeah, that's literally how this happens. He's like, if you guys don't be nice to each other, monkey people and humanoid dudes, if you guys, like, don't get along, I'm going to come back here and I'm pretty much going to kill all of you. Which I don't see how this is a good thing.
I think this should be a follow-up story where he just comes and kills everybody.
That'd be the greatest follow-up story.
Just like he's just like, you guys aren't friends. What the fuck? He's he's such a bad arbitrator. You know, people would be. I'm terrified of him.
Yeah, he literally says, "But remember, I shall return, and any group which breaks the peace will answer to the Spectre."
It's like, I think so too. It's like, I mean, all he did was like pour fuel on their dome. He didn't really do anything other than like that. So how can they be like, well, fuck it, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah.
You know what? Who gives a shit?
Yes.
So
that is this end of the backup story.
That's the end of the backup story, and that is the end of All-Star Squadron number 59? 59. 59.
Yay, 59.
July 1986.
I don't know. It was enjoyable. I always like how fucked up it is. All old comics tend to be fucked up. And it's funny that we call them old. I mean, they're not that old.
Well, it's like 20 years old. It's actually 30 years old.
I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
Don't remind me how long ago 1986 was. So yeah, it was fine. You know, I could have done with less C-SPAN.
Yeah, no, but that's probably why I have a feeling when most JSA books are like, like these All-Star Squadron, like they're just standing around having like meetings and shit because there's a million people.
One more thing about this book. Can we talk about this fucking ad?
Yeah.
This is another reason buying dollar comic books is great, because they have some of these weird-ass ads. So, I don't know what this is. I have never heard of this character. This character's name is Angel Love. And she's this chick with this short little red hair and these big eyes, and she's very cartoony looking. And it's supposed to be an ad for a special 8-issue series about the trouble and triumphs that make all of us heroes, okay? So it says Angel Love is, and there's a little picture of her kissing some dude. And then it says below that, warm. And then there's a picture of her looking very concerned because there's like a weird fucking angel, like one of those angels that your aunt like would give you to like put on a Christmas tree that she bought from like some dude on the side of a road. And it's like, I'm Halo and I'm your guardian angel. And then below that it says whimsical. And then all of a sudden there's just a giant picture of her eyes with the word cocaine written in a speech bubble. And it says, and not at all what you would expect. And I have no fucking idea what this is. Like, what the fuck?
And it is not for mature readers, so no. I don't know.
And it really looks like one of those, like, one-off girl comics they would do, like, back in the day. Mm-hmm. But then she's literally yelling about cocaine.
Well, it's the 80s.
I guess, sure. Well, you're right. It's the 80s.
This is the mid-80s. People were straight up coke back in the day, so.
Cocaine. It's good for you.
Yeah. So, our next book
next book. So this is the one I picked, and it is a Batman book. It's Batman and the New Adventures from September 87, and this is number 411. And on the cover of this book, we have Batman, Robin, and Two-Face shooting a gun. But at the very, very bottom is my favorite thing. It is a little white box, and inside it says DC Comics aren't just for kids.
Goddamn right.
Goddamn right. So, yeah. So,
I'm not the Batman guy, but I read through this. This is basically just your basic Batman and Two-Face do a bunch of shit story. Yeah. Or Batman fights Two-Face. Batman and Robin fight Two-Face, excuse me.
But it's Jason.
It's Jason Todd as Robin. Mm-hmm, so, and this is pretty...
And this comic, pretty much, from what the letters in the back lead me to believe, this comic came out pretty much right after the end of Frank Miller's Year One. And
it's right after, I think, Jason Todd became Robin, too.
Yes, because this is his second outing as Robin.
Yeah.
That is indicated here. Actually, my favorite thing, so we open it up, and right away you're like, what the fuck? Because there's Two-Face in his two-tone suit with his weird-ass face, and he's at the bank. Now, I am assuming that in Gotham, this is not Two-Face's first appearance, so everyone in Gotham knows who Two-Face is. You'd have to know all the fucking crazies that run around and, like, take up all of your real estate on your newspapers, right? So this teller is just calmly staring at Two-Face, being like, sir, you are holding up the line. Would you like to make a withdrawal, or would you like to make a deposit? And then that's when Two-Face, of course, is like, I'm withdrawal, ha ha ha, and, like, tries to steal all their money.
Well, he does. He robs the bank.
He robs the bank. They run outside, and, like, his little two-ton gang, I don't know what they're officially called in this book, but I'm calling them two-ton gang, because I think that's what they call them in the animated series. They run out, and, like, Two-Face is like, hey, good job, in the middle of the day, haha, thumbs up. And the other guy's like, boss, you're a genius. And then this guy goes, knock it off with the bouquets already.
What he means by, like...
I know what he means, but I'm like, is that, like, hip language that I was, like, not aware of?
You could start using it again.
I'm going to start using it again. Anytime somebody compliments anybody, I'm calling it a bouquet. So they get into, I don't know, a Z, an I... What is that?
It's a car.
I rock Z, and then they drive away.
Speed away, and then now we have...
And they're like, oh, we did this in broad daylight because the Batman won't come out. Ha, 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 aren't we clever?
Right, so then we jump to a meeting. Bruce is just wrapping up a meeting. I'm assuming at Wayne Industries.
No, he's at the hospital.
Oh, that's right. He's at Gotham Memorial Hospital. Mm-hmm. And basically, he is given money to set up a bunch of free clinics.
Yes.
Which, those jokes write themselves. Because...
Yeah, he needs to make sure that there's easy access to free clinics at all the time.
Yeah, because, if he's driving around in the Bat sedan, as we see later...
That's right. It's like a fucking hatchback.
He's going to need, after he's get done fooling around with his...
You think he would just mainline, like, penicillin at this point?
Yeah.
Or does he have, like, the chlamydia that he can't get rid of?
He's probably like I said, his penis probably looks like a modest cucumber.
Oh, no.
So, that's probably what's going on. But the funny thing is like, so he's talking to this, this guy from the hospital, and the guy from the hospital says, and this made me laugh, says, listen, next time somebody describes you as a dilettante playboy, I'm going to put them myself in the hospital. So basically, he's promising to beat the shit out of some... Then Bruce follows up and was like, and then provide free treatment, no doubt. Ha ha.
Jokes. It's funny when you threaten to assault people.
It's funny when you threaten to assault people that make fun of Bruce Wayne, which I would love to see this guy, if this guy was still around.
This old-ass doctor, and he's an old guy.
Just an old doctor beating up people because they're making fun of Bruce Wayne. Like, that's...
Yes.
Like, that's a backstory that needs to be the thing.
Why isn't this here? Why isn't that a backstory? Yeah. I also love that the reason Bruce says he's supporting the hospital is because his father was a doctor and therefore he feels he has a commitment. And I'm like, how the fuck does that work? Like, my dad is an engineer. Does that mean I have to, like, donate to civil engineering projects? Like, do I have a fucking commitment now?
Well, that, and also he just wants to be able to make sure that everybody can tell if they have AIDS like he does.
Yeah. Bat AIDS?
Bat AIDS.
Bat AIDS. So anyway, of course, Commissioner Gordon is there, and he gets word about this Two-Face robbery. So I guess we could jump further here, but he tells Batman about it. Batman's like, oh shit, let's get on this here. So then he goes back to the Batcave. And like, what up, Alfred?
He's like, yo, what up, Alfred? Where's Jason? Jason's in his room sleeping all day, and probably in a very creepy panel, Bruce in his cowl, not wearing his cowl, but he's wearing his cape, just kind of stands in the doorway.
And he's backlit in this panel, so you don't even see his face. All you see is his silhouette, and then Jason, angrily, like, in bed with his back to the door,
right,
like trying to make sure that Bruce doesn't come in and like, or thinks he's asleep. It's just, it's not a good panel.
Because he's just like, Jason, are you awake?
And Jason just looks so angry when you get a close up on his face, and he's like, I know you had a rough first night. and Jason's just like looks really angry and upset, and it's very creepy.
It is creepy.
It's molesting.
Also, how old is Jason at this point?
Oh, I don't know.
Because he has like one of those like Lost in Space robots on his dresser. Actually, his room looks pretty small and shitty.
Yeah, how do you have a small and shitty room if you live in the fucking Wayne Manor? I don't know how that works.
Like, it looks like he's literally like in not a hotel room. I wouldn't say it's that bad, but he just looks. It looks very. I don't know. It just looks lame.
Yeah, it really does look like, my room as a kid who grew up in like a regular old house. I'm looking to see how old he was. You'd think that would be here. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So, yeah. So he's like, all right, any rate, I'm about to go out on patrol.
Hey, I'm going to go out and punch a bad guy in the dick.
Basically, hey, little boy, get out of bed. Let's go downstairs. You
put on some
these
shorts.
Little tiny shorts and ride in the car with me.
You want to come ride in the car with me with little shorts?
So they get in the Bat sedan, which really is
why is it not? Why is it doesn't look like? Why is it not the? I mean, it's.
I don't know. It's a hatchback.
But it has
it's literally a hatchback.
It has like Batman's eyes on it on the front here.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't even have a bat symbol.
And it has like.
I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, actually, what happened here? Why is there no real? Like, it has like rear view mirrors and stuff.
Yeah, it's not even tinted. Like, it's
he's sitting in like he rented a car and he's like, this is the Batmobile for today.
Maybe the Batmobile's in the shop. I don't know.
Did year one? I mean, that's the thing. Did something happen in year one? Like,
no, because it's like this doesn't seem to follow exactly with year one, so I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea where the fuck this comes from. So anyway, they speed off in the Bat hatchback.
So they go they go speed off and they go basically
to like beat up some thugs. So they beat up some thugs. That's the end of their night. And then the next day, oh man, Alfred and Commissioner Gordon are at a baseball game together, which I did not know that they were friends.
Well, apparently he's going because he thought that Bruce was going to come.
Yeah, but then Alfred was like, oh, Bruce and his ward couldn't make it, so here I am.
His young boy. Yeah, so here I am watching...
I'm at the servant, I'm going to come hang out.
And Commissioner Gordon is so happy to watch baseball. And Alfred is like, yeah, I guess it's great.
Yeah, it's so exciting because it's the Gotham Mammoths versus the Metropolis Twins.
Which, yet again, in a DC comic, I have noticed this. They love fucking baseball, and they will make you try to love baseball too. Because there have been other comics where they're like, hey, isn't baseball great? And you know what? It's not. It's pretty boring.
And of course, we get this lovely setup of Commissioner Gordon saying, tie game, bottom of the second inning, which is really early in a fucking game.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
2 strikes, so this is like 2 balls, 2 men on base. So, like, literally, he just got to his seat because he's finally through the line to get a beer at the bottom of the second. That's pretty much how it works when you go to a baseball game, right? Like, you stand in line forever. But, like, it's bottom of the second, tie game. I'm like, well, that's not a big fucking deal, is it?
Well, actually, hang on. So, apparently, Bruce gave Jim Gordon this ticket. So he had, like, season tickets.
Of course, because he's Bruce Wayne.
And he gave Jim Gordon these tickets, and he decided to take Alfred on a date.
Yeah.
That's basically what happened.
Pretty much, which is really nice of him.
So then, like, basically...
It's nice because Alfred really doesn't get out.
Yeah, no,
And Alfred should.
But he's dressed still like a butler.
He is, yes, he is still dressed like a butler. Because Alfred doesn't have any other clothes.
No. So basically what happens is Two-Face shows up and decides to rob the box office at the baseball game.
Yes.
And
so they're fighting and they're punching, but Jason...
Well, Batman shows up to stop him.
Of course, Batman shows up. And then Jason jumps on Two-Face and pretty much tries to strangle him. He is trying to kill him. He wants him dead. And Batman's like, no, Robin. And Robin's like, I will kill you. And then... Two-Face escapes, and then they run through the stadium.
They run through the game during the game
to make sure that there are as many fucking baseball-related puns as you can cram into this fucking comic book.
Oh.
Yeah.
And also my favorite thing is that nobody on this team is fucking terrified by 2 costume men trying to do this.
Like running through a baseball stadium.
The baseball players are like, hey, I'm going to help you.
Yeah. Like, so some of these puns, like, I don't understand why Two-Face is like, don't you envy my stride?
That's
2 steps
at
a time. It's not a baseball pun.
He's just talking about...
He's just being dumb. He's like, look at me, I'm taking 2 steps at a time.
He's like, hey, I can run downstairs real fast. And Batman's like, yeah.
No, but he does say things like, like he punches the baseball guy who's like, I'll help you, Batman. Two-Face punches him and he goes, double play. And then he's like, he grabs a bat.
You know, Jim Gordon should have took Two-Face to the game.
He should have.
Because you think he would have enjoyed it because Alfred doesn't really care.
Yes.
He probably likes like rugby and stuff.
Yes.
If anything.
Yes.
Two-Face probably really would have enjoyed this. They should have went together.
So like Two-Face grabs a bat, he knocks Batman out, and then he slides into second, because, you know, why not? It's second. And then he runs downfield and like jumps onto a ladder and gets away. And Batman's just like, ugh. And they're like, you okay, Batman? He's like, I just had a home run scored off me. Waka, waka, waka.
Oh, well, you know, if Ben Affleck throws that out there in Batman vs. Superman... And
with his glowing eyeballs?
With his glowing eyeballs and metal neck. We're in for a treat, guys.
And basically, he has the first generation Iron Man suit.
Yes. Yes, he does.
From what we can tell from the footage from Comic-Con.
Yes.
It's the first generation Iron Man suit, except his eyes glow. So yeah, he's like, he got away, blah, 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 and Gordon's like, I can't believe he would... you know, plan this as an escape route. And Batman, being the shittiest detective ever, goes, it worked, right? Like, that's literally all he says. He's like, it worked. And then, but it has to be Jason to be like, figures he'd have a second way out of here, which should have been Batman's line. So anyway, they drive back to the cave, and then we get Bruce and Jason having a really weird moment where, like, Bruce is kind of nice. First, he gives him a guilt trip. right?
Right.
So he's like, Jason, what's wrong with you? Like, you almost killed Two-Face. I invested all this time in you. And he says, this is, again, it gets really creepy. You blew it back there. Everything I taught you went out the window. You completely lost your cool. Months of training in physical and mental. I took you into my home, my world, to share a secret. Sacred trust. And that kind of gets really kind of creepy, especially because it's illustrated by a picture of shirtless Batman getting kicked by Jason.
Let me take my shirt off to fight you.
So then that's when we find out that Jason's upset because in the back computer it says that Two-Face is responsible for his father's death.
Right.
But then Batman is, at least, he's very un-Batman. He's like, it's okay, I let him get away too. Don't worry about it, sport.
Not me, yeah, he's just kind of like, hey, you know what?
It's alright, it's okay.
You know what, things happen. Sometimes criminals get away. Sometimes I suck.
Yeah, so sometimes it's terrible. Here, I'll even smile in this one panel, which is just fucking creepy.
Then so then they go and watch. They somehow figure out that Two-Face is gonna rip off a casino, and so they
go punch them, and everything's fine with Jason. Yay, Jason!
Oh, that's right. Yeah, basically this ends very happily.
Yeah, so they punch a bunch of things, and like for some reason, the casino they decide to knock off has the world's largest roulette wheel, which is literally so big people can like walk on it.
Literally, yeah.
Literally.
And for no but it just exists.
Yeah, there's no reason. You would think the amount of like electricity it costs to actually fucking run that would just completely.
Yeah, but this is Gotham. They don't make very good decisions.
You are correct. Gotham makes shitty decisions. So like they turn it on, like Two-Face gets on it. Batman's like, turn that thing on, and then of course the ball gets let go. And Batman says, again, being a horrible detective in this issue, I didn't think about the ball. Really?
Why is the ball even operating? Like, I mean,
I don't know.
We don't actually know why. Because the Batman tells the guy turn it on.
Yeah, but does that mean the ball has to come? Don't you think there'd be like another button you push for the ball?
No, it just happens. This is crazy. This is Gotham. Yeah, hopefully this will make it to the TV show.
This will be in Gotham.
Hopefully this will be an episode.
Hopefully there will be an entire episode about the construction of the world's largest roulette wheel.
I want to know more about it. I want to know who signed up. I want to know how
Gordon trying to make sure that they follow the building codes.
I want to know like how they made this giant ball. You know, I want to know like.
It kind of just looks like a big basketball.
Maybe it's plastic. Maybe they have nothing to worry about.
I don't know. Jason kicks it away pretty easily without like.
It's gotta be classic.
Because you'd think if it was like a fucking bowling ball, Jason wouldn't have, he would have broken his ankles. Because he kicks it away.
So then why was Batman so worried about if it was going to crush him or not? You know, he's not. Jason's like, I'll go crush my ankles for this to save Two-Face's life.
Yeah.
And then he does.
And then, so Two-Face is like, I'm really dizzy. And then they put him in a thing. And Robin's like, I might be seeing things straight for the first time. And Batman's like, I think you are too, Robin. Haha, the end. So that's the end of that one.
You gotta talk about these letters, though.
Yeah, no, my favorite of the letters, because this is why...
I didn't get a chance to really read the letters, but you read a few of them.
I did.
There's some doozies.
There's some fun ones, because really, the letters at the back of these old comic books are like what the internet is today. So there are plenty of people being like, oh my god, year one, I'm jizzing on myself writing this letter. It's like the best fucking thing. Oh my god, jizz, right? So it's like tons of jizz, like all over this page. But then there are the people who don't like it. The people who don't like it are actually my favorite. Because their nerd rage can be felt through these letters.
Oh, it is palpable.
They're the palpable nerd rage. So my favorite is like this one guy writes in and he's like, this is the worst thing to happen to Batman ever. So this is the worst thing. Let me break it down for you right now. And he's like, basically, you turned him into Rambo, and it's bullshit. Gordon never had a son, because now you're saying the Batgirl never existed. And then finally, he gets on his high horse about Catwoman, because Frank Miller turned her into a prostitute. And I kind of agree with him on that, because Frank Miller turned her into a fucking prostitute, and Catwoman is my favorite, and she should never be one of those. Anyway, whatever, sex work is whatever it is, it's fine. I just think Selina would be smart and resourceful enough not to be a hooker.
Yeah, I think she would.
I think she would. I think she would be able to, figure out another way. I get it. I do not cast judgment on people who are sex workers for reasons, whatever. But I think Selina would probably figure out a different way. Anyway, so then he, goes blah, 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 blah. He's ranting about, all this sort of stuff. But he says, in closing, I'd like to say that Bats is my favorite hero. You, Miller, have ruined him. It's funny to think you were once so very good. Even Dark Knight was good, but only because I thought it was an alternate Earth. Now that we know what will eventually happen to Batman, destroying all my suspense. These Johnny-come-lately Dark Knight nuts may like your Batman, but I'm a longtime fan who wants true Batman back, not your hackery. I hate Miller's utility belt. That's my favorite line in the entire letter.
Gotta get that in there. Can't leave that out.
The only good thing is no yellow circle. That's not enough, especially when it's surrounded by terrible art. So once more, I scream out, no more hacks destroying the Batman. Is nothing sacred? All that's in caps, by the way.
I'm going to...
With uncontrollable resentment, John Craddock from Wilmington, North Carolina.
I am certain that he actually did scream that out.
I'm sure he did too. And actually, I would love to know what he's doing today. If he still... How he feels now.
He's in his late, mid-40s.
Probably.
And, he's...
Is nothing sacred? So basically, this is nerd rage in printed form.
If the internet was
internet nerd rage in printed form.
If the internet was here, if the internet was around here, he would have photoshopped a dick into Frank Miller's mouth.
Maybe that's the first thing he did when he got photoshopped.
He's like, I finally have my vengeance.
Yes, dicks. Maybe he bought all sorts of copies of Year One and just put dicks on them.
Oh, I hope so. I hope to find one of those in the dollar box one day.
Yeah, I hope so too, because it would kind of be like a bachelorette party exploded onto a comic book.
And it's Batman, so it's even better.
Dicks.
Well, I think that's about it.
So that's about it. Like I said, if you happen to be John Craddock, who wrote this lovely letter to DC back in the day, tweet at us. Or me or Shawn, and let us know how you're doing. I'd like to know what your thoughts on Batman are these days.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Angry Hero Shawn, and that's SHAWN.
And I am at Jen Stansfield, that's STANS as in Sam, F as in Frank. On Twitter, I'm also Jen Stansfield on Tumblr, where I post a bunch of shit.
Yes, so, you can find me on in Tumblr as well.
Instagram, same thing.
Yeah. So, but thank you for listening, and we'll be back with more of our worst collection ever.
Yay!
Next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.